Hi guys, today's video is on the concept of subdivision as it applies to music. Whether it be drums or any instrument, everyone has to count and play rhythms at some point. You can play just by ear or by feel, but if you're going to count, you might as well count in a really efficient and useful way and not just haphazardly. And I believe that subdivision is the best way, especially if you're having trouble figuring out what a rhythm should sound like, where to place it in a measure. If you subdivide, you can be pretty sure that you're playing it accurately or incorrectly. So what it is, at a really basic level, it's either counting more notes than you need in order to measure the spaces or durations between the notes. Another way to say that is it's counting the smallest subdivision of notes that you have, the smallest denomination, in order to make sure that the larger denominations are accurate and to easily see the difference between them. Okay, so I'm going to run you through a little example because this is all esoteric and meaningless right now. I'm going to play out of this book, which I really like. It's by Joel Rothman, Basic Drumming. Joel's really only shortcoming in this book is that he does not use subdivision for everything. He often just labels the notes that are there, and he leaves it up to you to figure out the spaces, which, if it's easy, then it's easy. But if it's not easy, if you're slightly confused, you will have trouble figuring it out. You must insert your own subdivision. Okay, so the example I have picked out is a measure of 4/4, staying with pretty standard time here. We have a dotted quarter note, followed by an eighth note, followed by 4/16 notes, followed by a quarter note. That's a lot of stuff going on. You've got the dotted quarter, the eighth, the 16th, and the regular quarter are all different lengths of notes. How long are they in comparison to one another? We have some counts listed here, right? That's sort of helpful. We have 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4. But that's not all the counts that exist in the measure. So this is not technically subdivided yet. We have some subdivisions in the beginning. There are more counts than you need for the dotted quarter note, but you don't see all the counts in the measure. There are parts of this measure that go uncounted as we see them here. So we're going to fix that. So instead of just counting 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4, I'm going to look for the smallest denomination of note, which in this case is 16ths, and I'm going to count everything. I'm only going to play on the 16th counts where I see notes, but I'm going to count all the counts to make sure distances between notes, the durations of the notes, are correct. So the way it's written is 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4. That also doesn't tell me how far it is between 4 and the next measure. If I subdivide it, it will sound like this. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. See how that's different? I'll do it slower. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So the reason that that's better and different, to reiterate, is because I have counted all the spaces evenly between the notes, as well as just labeling the notes with a count. So I know how far it is in 16th notes, the fastest type of note that I will need in this measure, between the first note and the second note, even though that's mostly just empty space. So if you only play by ear, learning to count at all will actually be helpful if you ever want to play without having a recording or someone to show you how to play whatever it is you're trying to play, right? If you don't play by ear, if you can read music, but you're a little unsure of how to play really syncopated or complicated passages, subdivision will definitely help with that. If you're a teacher and you already know all this about counting, but you're trying to teach people how to play rhythms accurately, this is probably the best way to figure out a rhythm that you're not already familiar with. Now, as you probably suspected, I have a purpose for this video, and it's that I have a book out right now with a co-author named Robert Miller, and it is about subdivision and counting. It's called Subdivide and Conquer. Here's the cover. So it looks like it is on sale right now for a limited time at only $6.99 on Amazon. It'll be released on Hudson Music this fall, as are all my books typically, and it will be probably more expensive in the fall. Or in fact later this summer, the price will go up. So if you want to get in on it now real cheap, this is the time. And it will show you very methodically how to count in terms of subdivision and how to read and develop a sense of beat and become a really accurate rhythmic player. And again, this is not just for drummers, this is for any instrument. It can also be used with bands, choirs, orchestras, ensembles. So music teachers, even if you're like a band director or a choir director at like a middle school or a high school or something, you can use this with entire groups of students, and it works that way. So I really recommend, if you're interested in learning more about counting and subdivision in a really methodical way, picking up a copy of the book, Subdivide and Conquer. Hopefully, even if you're not, that this little demo has explained to you what subdivision is and why it might be beneficial to you, and something to think about in your own playing. So let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.